there was a very, very great debater and scholar. His name was Damodar Kaviraj. He lived in the area of Srikhanda. And Damodar Kaviraj, he was a very excellent poet. And he knew the scriptures so well he could defeat anybody in debate on any subject. And he loved to defeat people in debate. And he was a devotee of Bhavani, Durga. So one day, a scholar engaged in a debate with Damodar Kaviraj, and like usual, Damodar Kaviraj defeated him. But this scholar became so upset that he cursed Damodar Kaviraj. He said, "I curse you that you will never in this life be able to have a son." Damodar Kaviraj was a married man. He was young. He was anxious to start a family. When he heard the broadcast of this curse, "In this life you will never be able to have a son," he became so disturbed. He fell at the feet of this scholar, and he began to offer him all sorts of services and beg forgiveness, and he just tried to please him in every way to somehow withdraw this curse. And ultimately he satisfied the scholar. And the scholar told him, in this life you will never have a son, because I've already given my curse. But you will have a daughter. And your daughter will be the reservoir of all devotional qualities. And your daughter will have 2 sons. And these 2 sons will create auspiciousness throughout the entire world. They will be great associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Damodar Kaviraj soon had a daughter, and her name was Sunanda. And she was such a beautiful and kind, compassionate-hearted person. Everyone simply loved her for her generous and devotional qualities. And when she was at marriageable age, he was trying to find a suitable husband. And by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, one of the most wonderful associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was from Srikhanda, his name was Chirajivan. He was a personal friend of Lord Chaitanya. He married Sunanda, the daughter of Damodar Kaviraj. And from them, a beautiful, wonderful son was born. And his name was Ramachandra, later to be named Ramachandra Kaviraj. And there was another brother that was soon to be born. The younger brother of Ramachandra was in the womb of his mother for a long time. And the time for giving birth came, and the child did not come out. So the mother was in terrible pain and distress, Sunanda. And the child just wouldn't come out. And she sent her maidservant to her father, Damodar Kaviraj, who was at the time worshipping Durga Devi, the deity, and said that your daughter is under terrible distress. So what he did is he had the sword in Durga's hand. He gave that sword to the maidservant of his daughter. And then she gave an abhishek to Durga Devi's sword. And she took that water and gave it to Sunanda to drink. And she drank it. And immediately, painlessly, the child was born. Durga Mata ki. And his name became Sri Govinda. Sri Govinda, when he heard how he was born by the grace of Bhavani, he became a very, very great devotee of Bhavani, Durga Devi. Meanwhile, Chiranjiva left his body, and his 2 sons, Ramachandra and Sri Govinda, were brought up after their father from their grandfather. And although the father was always repeating the wonderful stories of Lord Chaitanya, when he left, the grandfather was always telling them of the importance of worshipping Durga. So eventually they became Durga Bhaktas. So Ramachandra, when he became of marriageable age, he got married. And after the marriage, Srikhanda and Jajigram are just next to each other. They're 2 towns in Bengal. So he was walking with his wife after the marriage back to their home, and they were both beautifully decorated with all of the garments that people use for marriage. And he happened to walk by the house of Srinivas Acharya, who happened to be at the time giving Srimad Bhagavatam class. And Srinivas Acharya saw Ramachandra Kaviraj, and Ramachandra Kaviraj saw Srinivas Acharya. And when they looked at each other, immediately such a loving connection awakened within their hearts. And Ramachandra Kaviraj came to Srinivas, and Srinivas told him, because he saw him decorated so beautifully and with his wife, he said, "You are putting so much energy and so much money just to take a rope and put it around your neck to hang yourself?" And Ramachandra Kaviraj understood what he was talking about. And he said, "Please instruct me." So they spent that night, he and his wife both, and Srinivas Acharya explained to them the teachings of Lord Chaitanya as have come down through Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. And Ramachandra Kaviraj surrendered and said, "I want to be a devotee." And he took initiation from Srinivas Acharya. When Sri Govinda, his brother, saw Ramachandra, he was effulgent. He was simply ecstatic. He was always speaking the glories of Krishna and always dancing jubilantly with his arms raised, chanting the holy names. How has this transformation come upon you? You are so happy, you are so divinely realized. Everything you speak is full of such perfect spiritual and philosophical depth. And he told him he was initiated by Srinivas Acharya. So Sri Govinda was in a dilemma. He was thinking, I also want to be like my brother and get initiated by Srinivas Acharya. But there's a big problem, that I was born because of the grace of Durga, and I've been worshipping her all my life. She's my family deity. My grandfather worshipped her, and I cannot displease her. But at the same time, I want to be like my brother, and I can't be like him if I keep worshipping Durga Devi. So what should I do? Just when he was thinking that way, Durga Devi spoke to him and told him, you should surrender to Krishna, because Krishna is my Lord. He is the master of all masters, and Srinivas Acharya is his pure devotee. And if you don't surrender to Krishna, then I will be displeased with you. So he was very happy with this message. And then he decided, I must go to Srinivas Acharya. So he went to Jajigram. And when he came to Jajigram, he found that Srinivas Acharya had left to go back to Vrindavan. And then Ramachandra Kaviraj also came. And he saw all the residents of Jajigram, all the disciples of Srinivas Acharya were in terrible distress, because Srinivas had gone to Vrindavan and they didn't know if he would ever come back. So they asked Ramachandra, please go to Vrindavan and bring our Guru Maharaj back. So Ramachandra Kaviraj went to Vrindavan. And when he arrived, the news began to spread that a very special personality has come to Braja. So Jiva Goswami asked Srinivas Acharya, do you know who this person is? He said, it must be my disciple Ramachandra Kaviraj, Ramachandra. So he was brought to Radha Damodar temple, and there Jiva Goswami embraced him, and he was brought to so many other great personalities. In Vrindavan, he was brought to meet Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And there Ramachandra Kaviraj very intimately assisted his guru, Srinivas Acharya, in serving his guru, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, to the great satisfaction of all three and everyone else who saw. And when the devotees of Vrindavan heard the wonderful, wonderful poetry of Ramachandra, Jiva Goswami gave him the title Ramachandra Kaviraj. And they had wonderful, wonderful experience, parikrama of Braja, and so forth. And then Jiva Goswami instructed Srinivas that you should go back to Jajigram. The people need you there. Shamananda happened to be there at the time too. So Shamananda, Srinivas Acharya, and Ramachandra Kaviraj all together, they left. They went back to Jajigram. There Srinivas Acharya initiated Sri Govinda, who later became known as Sri Govinda Kaviraj, who has written so many beautiful songs. Bhajahu Remana Sri Nandanandana was written by that great personality, I believe. So one day they came to a village called Budhari, and Ramachandra and Srinivas were there. And Ramachandra was always hearing the glories of Narottam Das Thakur, because Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivas Acharya were such deep friends in Krishna consciousness, like two souls, like two bodies with one soul. So he used to sometimes long and weep and cry, when will I meet this great person, Narottam Das Thakur? So while they were in Budhari, a messenger came to Srinivas Acharya and said that I am coming from Kechari. I am the most sinful, the most degraded. But somehow or other, Narottam Das Thakur has accepted me as his servant. And he is just coming to meet you. So they were all very, very happy. And the next day, Narottam Das Thakur arrived. But that night, everyone took sleep, and Ramachandra Kaviraj could not sleep. He was thinking, tomorrow, the fulfillment of all my desires, I will meet the great Vaishnava Narottam Das Thakur. He couldn't sleep. But just toward the end of the night, he fell asleep for a few minutes. And Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a dream and told him, don't feel bad, that just as Narottam is dear to me, you are just as dear to me. And you will become the most intimate brothers and servants of the Lord. In fact, you will be inseparable. And between the two of you, you will remove the suffering of humanity. So the next day, Narottam arrived. He bowed down to Srinivas Acharya, and Srinivas picked him up and embraced him, and they soaked each other with their tears of affection. And Narottam Das Thakur explained that he had a plan. He wanted to have the first Gaur Purnima festival in Kechari Gram. He said 6 deities had been revealed to him, and he wanted to install all these deities on Gaur Purnima. And whatever associates of Lord Chaitanya were still alive, they were so sad in separation from the Lord, he wanted to invite all of them to Kechari to have a jubilant Gaur Purnima festival on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. And he asked Srinivas Acharya if he would arrange this festival with him. And Srinivas Acharya began to think that night that it's very short notice to send messengers to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya everywhere, invitations. There's hardly any time. And besides that, they're all so much suffering due to separation of the Lord. Who will even have the capacity to come? And that night, Lord Chaitanya appeared to Srinivas Acharya, and he said that I will arrange all my associates to come. It will be a wonderful festival. Go and send the invitations immediately. So the next day, Srinivas had a vision of Lord Chaitanya, who told him that Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur should preach together. So he told Ramachandra Kaviraj, you are my foremost disciple. I am entrusting you to the care of Narottam Das Thakur. Go together with him, preach with him, and help him organize this wonderful Gaur Purnima festival. So Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur were introduced to one another at that time. And one of the most legendary and historical relationships amongst Vaishnavas within our sampradaya was established on that day. Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur went to Kechari. Srinivas Acharya helped arrange all the invitations to be sent. Soon Janava Devi, the wife of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and so many other devotees were coming. She passed through Navadvip and collected all the devotees there. And then she passed through Santipur and collected the devotees there. And then she came through Srikhanda and collected all the devotees there. And there were hundreds and hundreds of devotees. And Santosh Dutt, who was the cousin brother of Narottam Das Thakur, who took the kingdom in place of Narottam, he built beautiful, beautiful houses, guest houses and kitchens and temples just for this festival, just to serve the Vaishnavas. He practically took whatever he had in his royal treasury just to make accommodations to make the devotees happy. And there was a royal reception for all the Vaishnavas when they came. A wonderful prasad was distributed. And on the morning of Gaur Purnima, Srinivas Acharya personally performed the Abhishek and installed all the 6 deities that were revealed to Narottam Das Thakur. And then Raghunandan Prabhu Thakur started singing. And at a certain point, Narottam came in. And his voice was so sweet and so filled with bhakti that it was just melting the hearts of everyone. And as the kirtan became more and more and more transcendentally ecstatic and spiritually emotional, at a certain point, the devotees could not contain their enthusiasm to loudly chant the holy names of Krishna.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.